For all the fans of the Christmas season, welcome to another episode of Pounds Firearms. Today we are going over the Rusty 1911. I got this from a user, or excuse me, a viewer. The viewer was like, hey, I came up on this 1911 from a friend that passed away, and a friend's daughter reached out to that guy and said, do you want this? That guy said, sure. After he looked at it, he wasn't sure if it was safe to shoot because there's quite a lot of rust and it's not very fluid right now. It binds up and stuff. So he asked me to take a look at it for him. So here it is. It's a Llama. I don't know if you can see that from the slide there. It's a Llama arm or Llama whatever. I guess it's just Llama. It is a Spanish company. I did a Google research. They started in 1904. They went out of business in 2000 or got bought out in 2000. But they started making around mid 90s. They started making 1911 clones. This is their Max 1 CF, which it's equivalent to not the full size, but the one under that. I don't have a 1911. I forget the name of it. The government model, Commander or something like that. I don't know what it is, but yeah. So it's the 4.25 inch barrel, not the 5-inch barrel. So yeah. So I think this is all steel construction. It does have a rubber hammer. It does show some signs of wear. As you can see, there's shining parts showing everywhere. The chamber here, it's pretty beat up. It's a lot of rust and marks and yeah. Well, this is it. I'm super excited. So I've never gotten to play with a 1911. So I will disclose that I tried to play with it a little earlier, and from everything I read, basically what happens to take this apart, the field stripper, you push this little plunger down, or I'm not sure what it's called, and then you rotate the bushing. This bushing does not rotate. As you can see, it's got some wear on the barrel. So I don't know if it was dropped or what, so I'm going to have to take a look at that here before I shoot it. So I have not shot it yet just because I wanted to take it apart and kind of inspect that and just make sure that it's not going to impede on anything coming out. I guess before I start pointing at the camera here, let's just go ahead and do our safety check here. Magazine's empty. There's nothing in there. We're good to go. So when I first got this thing, it bound up pretty bad. It was squeaking and everything else here. So I got a head start because I couldn't get the bushing off. I started lubing this up already here with some CLP, dabbed some CLP on it, and I let it sit for a few days. I went out and ordered a 1911 bush whatever, the barrel bushing tool. We're gonna go ahead and try it out here. I'm gonna push down on it. I think 1911s. Forgive me, I'm learning 1911s. So I gotta push down on it. I think I'm in there. It feels like a pretty good seal, so I think I can just turn it. Oh my god. Hey, it worked. I am a first-time 1911 owner, and I've never taken one apart. So I think the rule of thumb is we take off the safety. I guess the spring's coming out. Cool. Spring's gonna come out. So I think I got to take this back. Oop, too far. There's a notch. This is the slide stop, but this other notch right here, I believe that's where it needs to line up to take off. So then there's push pin on this side. Yep, came right out. There's that. So now I think it should just come forward. Yep, there's the guide rod. Just judging by what I see, it looks like it's got a lot of use. So now I think the next, oh shoot. I think the next hard part now is the barrels come out the front. And I gotta get that bushing out, so I gotta try to turn it the other direction. I mean, I'll show you here, just so I'm not being a wimp. You can see my fingertips turning white, and it is not turning. So there's something bound up in there, which we're gonna have to get to the bottom of here. So let's put this sucker back in here. So I think now we gotta turn it the other direction. So all you 1911 fans out there, take it easy on me. I'm sure there'll be something I do wrong with the magazine. There it goes. Alright, so now and the barrel should just come out the front. There we go. I don't know if you can see down the barrel here. Let's see if you can see the rifling. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. Doesn't look horrible. That's not brand new, but I don't think it looks horrible yet. Got my headlamp here, so hopefully this will help out here. So I don't know if you can see that or not here, but there's a lot of rust in there actually. All down the rails on both sides. Up in this area here, yeah, I just wiped a bunch of it off. They said there's some grease in there because I was trying to get that bushing off. So yeah, so it needs a good cleaning, that's for sure. It looks like it's just surface rust, I hope. But what I'm noticing here is, so here's this groove that the lug is going to ride on. So this is going to go in and then turn, and it should follow that groove for disassemble, and it looks like it sits about here for the normal ride. I don't know if you can see it or not here, but something happened where there was either a malfunction or somebody was trying to jam the barrel out. Maybe that's why the barrel's all beat up. But something tried to pop that lug out of the groove, and it actually caused a lip right here. And if I look at it from this angle right here, that's exactly what's going on. This is catching on that little lip that's formed. You can kind of hear it grabbing. You can hear it grabbing right there. So it's stretched out this whole side right here. So I think what I need to do is probably get a Dremel just to try to round that off a little bit. I don't think it's going to affect the performance of it, but we'll find out. But yeah, I think if I round that off, that's going to help that out. Other than that, there's some rust in there. I think this is a little bit different style of an ejector because I believe most things that I've seen so far, some gouge right here, has an ejector that comes out of this side. So I don't know what an ejector off this angle right here means or how to get that apart. But I think we can get that firing pin out here. So let's see if I can get this firing pin out. I think the rule is you push that in. This is a 3-hand job and I only have 2 hands. So try to push this down, hold it. So now the firing pin goes in all the way. There, I think I got the firing pin going. People say to cover it up, so we'll see if I get it shoots out. Well, it didn't shoot out very far. So this needs to come. Oh, there we go. I got to push this plunger down again. That's bizarre, huh? Is that normal? All you 1911 guys out there, tell me, is that normal? It looks like this might even be bent a little. I think it is bent. Yeah, I think seeing some abuse here. Yeah, so there's spring tension in there, and it's going up. If I look at it, it's about that far in. Yeah, I think it was right above this rear sight. So I think I'll knock that rear sight out. I don't know if that's pinched. If I can actually knock that out. I'm guessing the spring will come out once I move the rear sight. So if I move the rear sight, the spring will come out. This whole thing would come out. That's kind of a pain in the ass. So that is not very 1911-ish. So I think to get this out, I think I need to go ahead and push that out from the bottom. I think there's some rust on the face of that. That's a kind of interesting design, huh guys? What do you think? Never seen a 1911. Well, I've never owned a 1911, but everything I've seen, I've never seen the extractor on that side. And there's definitely a pin right here. I'm hoping that's reusable. I hope I can just push that out and call it good. Interesting, interesting, interesting. All right, let's get some tools out of the way here. Well, let's see if the lower comes apart the same way here. So, my understanding, so let's take a look at this. Oh yeah, look at all that rust down there. So, I think step one is to get, you know what, let's step one, let's see if we can get these grips off. As you can see, there's a little rust in there too. So, oh, you can even see it inside the magazine. Oh wow, look at all that. Look at all that down there. See that down in here? So this turns out to be like a little restoration video, I guess, huh? Oh yeah, there's some all over here. So, I don't know if that's a punch or if that's a screw. It's got a flathead right here. But I thought that was something you knock out. I think that this whole thing comes off. But I think you need to pull the safety off first. Oh, there it comes. Oh, I almost got shot in the face. Good thing I have my goggles on. Oh man, everything's falling out. Well, as you can see, I think you can probably pick that up with the camera. There is some. Oh wow, there's a lot of rust there. This spring is almost gone, it looks like, honestly. Yeah, there's quite a lot of rust on that. Look at the spring's okay. I thought it was gone, but hopefully it's just surface rust. We'll see. I thought it was more that held it in place, but I guess they just fall out like that, and that's normal. What's next? I think I need to release the hammer tension. Yeah, so that goes into the spring there. So there's some rust right here. There's some rust on this back side here of the frame. One of those are just surface. So it looks like I see a sear back in there. You guys help me out. Is there a sear right here? This is, I think, the spring. The spring looks a little messed up. I don't remember it sticking out so far on some of the other ones. Let's see if we can get this back plate off. So it is slotted right here. I don't know if that means I'm supposed to punch or if I'm supposed to screw. Ooh, it's turning. Ooh, it's turning. Let's get this little guy out of the way. This one seems to be working. I don't know if it's coming out, but something's turning. I think it's coming out, guys. Sure is. Look at that. Huh. So everybody else punches theirs out. I gotta screw mine out. Interesting. Is that how you guys are doing it? So it looks like it's a pin, but threads on one side. That's a little interesting. I haven't seen that yet on any of the references I've been using. So now let's see if this comes out. I don't have the proper 1911 tools. Oh, it's coming. I just broke free. See that? There we go. Alright, the hammer's free. So I think if I'm not careful, that spring is going to come shooting out here, but let's see if I can get the rest of this out. I think that spring is going to go bye-bye. Let's see if I keep my finger on it. Ah, there it goes. So that came blowing out. So here is this. For some reason this doesn't look right. Does that look right to you guys? Yeah, I feel like this is just not the right look. So it looks like here's a sear, and I forget what they call that thing, but yeah. So I noticed that the hammer pin already started coming out. So we'll go ahead and just A that thing out. There goes the hammer. So I think now, does the sear just come out, or is there more pins? Is there one more pin that holds this in? Is there a sear pin? There sure is. So I think some people push it and then hold it there so it doesn't come all the way out. So here's that pin. So now I think everything falls out, right? Yes, it did. Oh, something else fell. Oh, what is that? What is that, guys? Help me out. What is this one? Well, whatever it is, it's coming down. I'm gonna try to leave it in there. Let's see what this guy's coming out here. It's grooved. So the groove was on the bottom. I don't know which side it came from, but it came from inside the bottom here. So, yep. Alright, so I think that's it. I think. Oh, wait, I gotta get the safety out, or the magazine release out to get the screws a little beat up. So I think the trick is 1/16 of an inch and turn. Oh, that's way more than a 1/16 of an inch. It was almost all the way depressed. So whoever told me that was a bit of a favor. Oh yeah, look how far that had to go out. 1/16 of an inch. Who the hell says that? Jesus, it's got to go this far. We're cruising right along. I think we're down to the last piece, right, guys? The trigger. Oh Lord, look at that. Look at that. I'm just gonna wipe it off real quick with my fingers to see. Yeah, it looks like it's truly just surface rust. Yeah, see that? That was pretty crazy, huh? A few things happened while I was gone. First of all, I had a camera malfunction, so you didn't get to see the other things I had to take apart here. So I'm gonna quickly recap it. If you remember, there was the extractor is here on the outside. For whatever reason, this extractor hangs out here. There's also the 80 series firing pin safety that plunged through there, and I couldn't figure out how to get that thing out. So to get this extractor out, this pin actually went through this little tiny hole here. Let's see if I get a little pointer tool. So that hole right in there, if you can see that. Yeah, right in there. Sure, can you see that? Yeah, sure. So knock that out, push this pin out. When I push that pin out, you know, I put everything in the tray this time here. I was getting too many small parts, so I had to put everything in the tray. But here's the extractor with the spring. So basically it sat inside this little cavity right here, like something like that. There's a little nipple on here that goes into the spring. The extractor goes inside, and it sat like this with the pin holding it in place. Knocked the pin out, extractor came right out. So I did that. Didn't record very well, but yeah. The other thing I had to figure it out too was in here, this is where the fire pit safety goes, and it was plunging fine. I couldn't figure out how to get it out, so I ended up doing it. It's different on the Series 70s, but for this one, it's kind of interesting. Good old Spanish company here trying to be their own proprietary thing. So I had to pop the rear sight off. So got my sight adjustment tool. I can show you that if you need that, or if you wanted to see how this thing works. But use my sight adjustment tool, knock that rear sight off. Once that rear sight came off, then here it is. That piece, and then this spring came out. So this spring basically sat on top. The plunger went in like this. So I don't know how we're gonna get this back in, but the spring sat on top. Then you get your rear sight. Rear sight. So yeah, so basically I'm gonna have to push that back in and somehow get the spring down, which then allows the plunger to activate. But yeah, so I pulled that out. Got all that knocked out, cleaned up. Yeah, hopefully these parts don't go bad because I don't know how to replace these. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. So this video is getting pretty long. I wanted to go ahead and show you all this here. So I don't think I'm going to be able to. This is my first 1911, as I told you earlier. So I've had a ton of fun taking it apart, but it's also taken me a long time to take it apart. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I think I'm going to break it up into 2 parts, maybe 3 parts. 2 parts for sure, 2 parts at least. So we're going to have part 1, which is this assembly, which you've seen today. Hold this assembly. Next video, I'm going to do the reassembly. I'm not going to show you the cleaning. I already started cleaning most of the parts here. There's one more piece left, actually, now that I think about it, that I still need to take apart. But I ended up getting my scrubbers, scrubbed them down pretty good. So I am pretty happy with the results so far. The other thing I did off camera too, see if I can get this to focus. See, So remember before there was a little burr right here. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. I'm gonna put the camera a little closer. You guys just might see the camera. It's fine. But there was a little burr right here. I ended up grinding that down. So now my barrel bushing can actually go in there now without having to crank on it and all that other good stuff. So it's still, I think there's some junk in the groove still because it doesn't always lock very well. So yeah, it's better than it was. What else? I think that's all that's happened here. So yeah, so the big differences so far is going to be the safety, the fire pin safety. That's different than on a regular Colt 80 series. The actual plunger for the safety was different, and the extractor was different. Everything else seems to be on par with a normal Colt 1911. So yeah, call this part 1, and we're gonna fire up part 2 here in a second. And yeah, tell me where I go wrong. All right, guys, this is Pound from Pound's Firearms. We're signing off of part 1. Don't forget to like. Oh, you don't have to like. You know what? Don't like. Don't forget to subscribe so you can easily find part 2, so you can give me some pointers on how to get this back together. All right, guys, Pound from Pound's Firearms, signing off.